You're trying to fit everything into your literacy block and you're not able to do it. It leaves you feeling defeated, and the thought of an administrator walking into your room and observing you while you're teaching reading and writing just stresses you out so much. Well, if that sounds like you, you're in the right place today, because I'm going to tell you all about how to use the Daily 5 method to plan your literacy centers and have a smooth running literacy block. So where you're to the point that if an administrator walks in, you're glad because you want to brag on your kids and how well they're doing, and yourself as well as an amazing teacher, because you are one. And sometimes we're just so overwhelmed with everything we have to do. So what I want to recommend first is getting your hands on the Daily 5 book. You can buy this on Amazon. It has gone up in price a little bit since I originally bought it over 10 years ago. That makes sense. But really, everything I'm going to tell you is based off of the Daily 5 book. I have just tweaked the method to work better and more efficiently for my classroom. And what I noticed is when I started talking about this on my TikTok for Literacy Fundamentals, the same name as this channel, it really blew up because people wanted to implement the way I was teaching what I was doing. A handful of people were already doing Daily 5 and loved it, but they wanted the efficiency that I was offering. And some people just had no clue how to set up their literacy block, which is totally understandable. And if you like a system that not only you are going to love as a teacher, but your students are going to love as well, then stay with me till the end, because you're going to love the offer I have for you. And you're going to learn a lot during this short but efficient video. Okay, so the first thing that I set up when I do the Daily 5 is I teach my students read to self. We start by building stamina, our reading stamina, and once we reach that 15-minute mark, we know we can move on to mastering the next station. I don't recommend introducing all the stations at once. Stick with one thing at a time. Keep the main thing the main thing. And I recommend read to self, even for kindergarten. And if you don't believe me that kindergartners can do this, go back and watch my Daily 5 for kindergarten video. I taught kindergarten for years, and you will even, I think there's a clip of my kindergartners doing that. So by all means, if you don't believe me, go check it out. Okay, the next station I recommend is work on writing. The reason I like to do this one next is because it's just another really independent task that even kindergartners can do, because they can draw pictures. So I properly show them what their station activity is going to look like. By the time I switched to 5th grade, I realized that my students needed some options for their writing that were more in depth than my K-1 kids did. So I created writing slides for every month with 3 templates per day. Now, I let my students do creative writing if they want to, or they can take one of the writing prompts and write about it. And the way that I check in on that is by checking their journals at the end of the week, so they have accountability. And before, when I didn't check their writing, about half of them were doing it, about half of them were not. So obviously you got to check their work. It's time consuming, but it's worth it. And then you get to see the cool stuff that they're writing as well. And a lot of them are really excited about the writing prompts because some of them are silly. And I need to add the caveat that Daily 5 writing station is not the same as when you're teaching writing. So it's not your whole group writing lesson. It's not tied to your writing curriculum. If you wanted to do that, I've also done writing Daily 3 with 3 writing stations. I love that as well. And I've never done a video on that, but now that I'm saying that out loud, I should probably show you how to do that as well. So if you like the system of it, it's great. So work on writing is the second thing I teach. We build our writing stamina until we get to the 15-minute mark. I have stamina charts inside of my TPT store for all of these, so you can graph all of them. It's really encouraging to the kids to see the progress they've made, especially those little ones who it takes them longer to build stamina. But even in 5th grade, your class might struggle with that if they've never done the Daily 5 before, but the payoff is totally there. You just have to put in the hard work, and you'll be so glad you did after they master it. Okay, next, we do listen to reading because my students love listen to reading, and there's a variety of ways you can do this. You could have an old school, cassette player. I don't even know if they have those anymore, or a DVD, not a DVD, a CD where they're reading the book. But there's so many great things online right now that you can get for free. And so there's apps that have all the books that are prepped. Your librarian at your school should be able to help you with that. And the one thing I will say, I got this question on YouTube. No, I got this question on TikTok. somebody asked, like, how do you keep the kids accountable on their iPads? Well, I use Apple Classroom, and so we have strict rules. If you're cruising on another website when you're supposed to be listening to reading, I lock you out and you don't get your iPad back for a week. It's that serious, because I want them to be responsible with technology, and to have autonomy, you have to earn it. So use Apple Classroom. It's a free app you can get, and you can link all of your students' iPads to it. Okay, next, book clubs. Now, this is something the kids don't build the stamina for, because once they have all of their stamina for each station, then you can start pulling book clubs. You can't pull the book clubs until they've learned all the stations, because they need you to be in charge of that. So when they do come to book club, I go over the expectations of, you need to have your materials ready. Like, I don't want to waste learning time for you going back to grab your pencil. You should have your pencil, your notebook, your book with you every time. Likely those things are all going to be in your book tub, so just bring your book tub. So we review that so that I can dive right into going over the lesson with them, reading with them, while everybody else is working independently. Okay, the last one is read to friend. And I haven't done this one in quite a few years. I used to do it all the time when I taught a kindergarten first grade split, because it was really great for my first graders to read to my kindergartners, or in the event that even a kindergartner was a stronger reader than a first grader, they could read. But I found that a lot of times it's just a goof off time for kids. There's a handful of them that'll do really well with it, and then others that'll take advantage. No matter how great your classroom management is, it can be a silly time. So read to friend, you build the same stamina that you do with all the other stations, and then you just really model that one a lot. And then if people cannot handle it in your class, then they don't get to do it. So that's another incentive, that the kids that are doing well with it, you can offer that as a choice to them. So there you have it. Those are the 5 stations you can have during daily 5. I will say that I do about 4 a day, because I take out read to friend a lot of times. And then not every time, though, do my kids have book club. So if there's 5 options available, but only 4 time slots, you can fit them in however you like. The stations can run, anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. I kind of determine when I want to switch. So I'm in charge of that, because sometimes a book club might go over. If you are interested in learning a more in-depth viewpoint of the Daily 5 to see how I do it, how I run it more efficiently, how it's working so well in my classroom, I am teaching a live workshop on Saturday, July 15th for K-2 teachers, and then another one for 3-5 teachers, which will also work if you're teaching 6th grade. I've had a few people on TikTok ask me if they could still join. Of course. So you're going to want to get into the description box below and sign up for whatever grade level you are, either K-2, 3, 5. And you're going to be on the VIP list. If you sign up before July 15th, you're going to get the lower pricing of $37 for the workshop. And if you join us live, so the hope is that you'll come live, because you get to ask questions, but also I'm going to be giving away at each workshop the Daily 5 book, which cost $37.33 right now. So if you win that book, it's like you're making 33 cents back. You're getting the price of the workshop back to you in the book. So you have to show up live for that, and be entered to win that way. So I hope you found this video helpful. Go ahead and share it with a teacher friend who is going back to school pretty soon here in the fall and might need help with their literacy stations. And I hope to see you at my live workshop coming up in a few weeks. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.